Greetings. Hey, this is me, Ro, and this is Check That Book, where we occasionally also take a look at some truly disturbing video games. I've tried playing them for you, but it's not my thing. I'm not good at it. You can be the judge of that. If you check out my disturbing games playlist, where I tried playing No, I'm Not a Human, which, by the way, the lore has expanded a wee bit, but I still haven't properly played the full game yet, so I'm halfway there. Resident Evil 8, also known as Resident Evil Village, is my favorite fucking game out of the entire franchise, albeit Resi 7 Biohazard, which I also made a video about, introducing you guys to it. You need to know that Resident Evil 8, the Village, is almost nothing like 7, albeit it is the direct continuation of the story. So instead of looking at me face, most of the time in this video you'll be looking at cutscenes and gameplays. What's so disturbing about it? Yeah, it is one of my favorite games of all time, that is, but why is it on my list? Let's talk about it. Spoilers possible. Resident Evil Village stands as one of Capcom's most visually opulent and psychologically unnerving entries in the long-running survival horror series. This one is set in a bleak Eastern European village. The game combines gothic horror with grotesque body horror, presenting a gallery of villains who are as psychologically disturbing as they are physically monstrous. We have Lady Dimitrescu, and yes, her surname is pronounced as Dimitrescu. Lady Dimitrescu, the aristocratic predator. Perhaps the most iconic figure of the game, Alcina Dimitrescu is a towering vampire countess who blends grace and savagery. Her disturbing quality lies in the way she weaponizes allure and refinement. What makes Lady Dimitrescu unsettling is not just her size or strength, but also her cold detachment from human suffering. Her maternal affection for her daughters contrasts sharply with her sadistic pleasure in tormenting Ethan Winters, as well as her other victims, no doubt, highlighting the hypocrisy and her own twisted abuse of power. Donna Beneviento and Angie, the horror of grief and puppetry. The quietest and most psychologically terrifying segment of Resident Evil Village occurs at House Beneviento, ruled by Donna Beneviento, a reclusive doll maker who channels her trauma through her doll Angie. Donna's grief and isolation manifest in the form of ventriloquism. Angie speaks with her voice, mocking and manipulating the player in a childlike yet cruel tone. This duality between the master and a puppet symbolizes the loss of self-control and the dissolution of identity. The hallucination sequence, where Ethan is stripped of his weapons and forced to confront a monstrous wailing fetus, stands as one of the most disturbing moments in modern gaming. Salvatore Moreau, the grotesque amphibian-like creature who dwells in the flooded reservoir, represents the horror of physical corruption and self-disgust. Moreau is pitiable, desperate for approval from Mother Miranda, yet aware of his own repulsive form. His mutation, which fuses human and fish-like traits, evokes a visceral discomfort tied to body and disease. The player's encounter with this one, as he vomits this acidic bile and transforms into a giant sea monster, elicits both horror and sympathy. Moreau's tragedy lies in his awareness. He knows he is a failure and a monster, and that self-loathing makes his existence more unsettling than his appearance. And last but not least, my personal favorite, Karl Heisenberg and his mechanized rebellion. Where the other lords embody primal or mystical fears, Karl represents industrial horror, the mechanization of flesh and the corruption of human ambition. Charismatic and cunning, Heisenberg seeks to overthrow Miranda using an army of human-machine hybrids, turning corpses into weaponized experiments. This also echoes back to the experiments during the World War. His disturbing nature stems from his cold rationality. He sees humanity as raw material for his designs. His factory, filled with whirring gears and sparks and mutilated cyborgs, symbolizes dehumanization under technological obsession. I bet none of you gamers viewed this through this prism, but I figured why not? Also, Heisenberg's madness is intellectual rather than purely monstrous. He is a scientist, after all, whose genius has rotted into sadism a wee bit. But of course, he also has his tragic backstory, and you can't help but feel for him. Mother Miranda herself and her devotion to madness is a disturbing figure, but what the heck, this is a good representation of what a loving mother can do for her child. And then, of course, there is the mysterious figure of the Duke, but he's been talked about so many times before that I decided not to really focus on him much in my little introduction that I've just performed for you in a voiceover. So yeah, I mean, if all of these things sounded interesting and what you just saw looks interesting, yeah, by today's standards, Resi 8 is an aging game, but it's beautiful nonetheless. If you really want to play something cool that is also disturbing, yes, it has a great backstory, do play Biohazard and polish it off with the Resident Evil Village. You will not be wasting your time. I feel like Resi 8 is a combination of Bloodborne and do you know the film Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman? That's where this brings me when I think about it. But yes, these were my introductions to the characters and to Resident Evil 8. There were some spoilers, but those were more like I tried to explain the most disturbing aspects of this story and of the game, and also trigger warnings if everything that you heard sounded okay-ish and looked okay. Go for the game, you guys. It's a really wonderful piece. Not to mention that Ethan Winters is collecting his own daughter piece by piece, but play the game yourself. Play the game yourself. It is a direct sequel to Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. And the family members that I've just described to you, yeah, there's a pattern from Resi 7. Again, we have another family, and this one is equally as dysfunctional. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like unorthodox content, consider giving this video a boost in the form of an erect thumb, and make sure to subscribe for more. I'll see you all as soon as possible. Take care. Bye.